Pretty much I'm going to start with a talk about how Apple came into the world from nowhere. What led up to this whole thing of personal computers ever happening in the first place? Myself, I've been sort of the engineer who designed the first Apples. Back in school, I got into science fairs. You get a technical orientation.
His name is Steve Wozniak. He created the first Apple computer called the Apple I. Not only did he create the first Apple computer, this man created the first computer with a single circuit board, keyboard, and a video interface. If you think that's a flex, my man built his first computer when he was 13, and he called that computer the cream soda computer. While he was in his room soldering circuits, the civil rights movement was in full swing, and the Beatles released their first album called Please Me, Please Me. Okay, so let's go back. So why did he call his computer the cream soda? Well, technically, at the time, that was his favorite drink.
I was going to live in an apartment so I could have my own computer. Finally, I saw the formula.
Wozniak got super excited and decided to build his own computer using a tiny chip. He was a big dreamer, but he couldn't decide if he should use the Intel 8080 or the Motorola 6800. But his pocket chose the MOS Technology 6502. So Wozniak wrote a program for this new chip and started designing a computer around it. He finished the basic design in March 1st, 1976. Wozniak tried to share his design with HP, where he used to work, but they denied him 5 times.
I'm going to build a computer that impresses them. I'm going to show it to them, because showing off was really my way of communicating. I was still shy. And I'm going to pass out my designs for free and tell everybody for $300 you can build your own computer that is so good you can actually type programs in and run them.
After being rejected, he went to the homebrew club and showed his design. That's where Steve Jobs' eyes were open. He saw that product and said, yo, this is gonna get me out of this neighborhood, man.
And eventually Steve Jobs came into town and he saw it. And he said, let's start a company.
So Jobs advised him to start a business together and sell bare printed circuit boards for the computer. Now, Steve Jobs is the cool, hip businessman. If he had not persuaded Wozniak, the Apple brand we know today most likely would not exist. So Jobs convinced Wozniak to start a business together. In order to create their business, they needed money. Wozniak sold his fancy calculator, HP 65. And you know why? Because HP rejected him 5 times. So, in the meantime, Jobs sold his Volkswagen van. So, I don't know if that price equates, but at the time of this video I researched yesterday, that calculator is selling for $3,500 depending on where you're looking at. After the company was formed, Jobs and Wozniak gave presentation of the fully assembled Apple Computer A. They're really bad with names, I'm telling you. So at the Homebrew Computer Club, Paul Terrell, who was starting a new computer shop in Mountain View, California called the Byte Shop, saw the presentation and was impressed by the machine. Terrell told Jobs that he would order 50 units of the Apple I and pay $500 for each, but only if they come fully assembled. He was not interested in buying bare printed circuit boards with no components. You really can't sell that to the average consumer because they won't know what to do with it. Jobs took the purchase order from the Byte Shop to the national electronic part distributor called the Kramer Electronics and ordered the components needed. When the credit manager asked Steve Jobs how will he pay for those parts, Jobs simply replied, I have the purchase order from the Byte Shop chain of computer store for 50 of my computers and the payments term are COD. If you give me the part on net 30-day term, I can build and deliver the computers in that time frame. So that's what he said. Collect my money from Terrell at the Byte Shop and I'll pay you. To verify, because obviously anyone can lie these days, and Steve Jobs was not the Steve Jobs that we know today. So to verify the purchase order, the credit manager called Paul Terrell, who assured him if the computers showed up, Jobs would have more than enough money to pay him. Jobs and Wozniak and their small crew spent day and night building and testing the computers and trying to deliver the computer on time to Terrell. And they managed to deliver the computer on time, and so Because of that, Terrell kept his promise and paid him. So after that, Steven Wozniak sold the Apple I for $666.66. Steve Wozniak said it was random. Long story short, the Apple A1 was very successful and they managed to sell about 200 units. And that was the start of the Apple that we know today. Later on, we'll talk about the Apple II that Wozniak participated in.